welcome to another episode of Rift News, the show you return to every time when a new skin is released, because you want to know if the skins are really as bad as you think they are, or if it's just you. This episode of Rift News will be a bit special, because it is going to be my last video before my wedding. Honestly, it's not like too much is going to change, with the biggest difference being that I'll have a ring. But I don't show you my hands anyway, so you won't notice anything. So just for a future comparison. Yup, that's my hand without a ring. Anyway, we got some new skins to discuss, and a bunch of Riot posts to go through. So, without further ado, let's get on it. If you log into the live client, not much is happening there. Unless Riot already released 9.14, because server maintenance is on its way. And if that's the case, the Demacia and Vice skins will be up, but I'm going to pretend nothing is happening yet. So, your store should still be up, and the arcade event is still ongoing. A nice bonus compared to the last time we talked about the arcade event is that TFT will now give you arcade tokens. However, it still won't give you credit towards missions, which means that you still can't get prestige points through TFT. And considering how little time I'll have in the next 2 weeks, there is no way I'll get them. So I pretty much bought the pass for the sake of owning a pass, I guess. In short, nothing new on the live client. Probably. When we have a look at PBE, however, that's a different story. We already know that patch 9.14 will have the ranked ladders for TFT, and 9.15 will include the project event of 2019, and all of these have to go through PBE eventually. Some people may have noticed that the first addition to the TFT roster is already on PBE. Twisted Fate will join Teamfight Tactics as a pirate sorcerer. This is an interesting combination, because this will allow gunslingers to also build pirates without the need of early pike. Pike was always a little bit useless for late game gunslingers, because assassins don't fit that comp, so you would usually try to replace him with Misfortune later down the line. With Pirate Sorcerer, however, you can try to transition into something like Void Gunslinger Sorcerer, with the Pirate buff as a bonus. The Sorcerer buff would benefit your MF, Gangplank and even Lucian, while the Void buff would give everyone 50% armor penetration. What I'm trying to say is that Twisted Fate will open up some new funny combinations. Now, if you are wondering what Twisted Fate actually does in TFT, well, it's simple. Riot kept his pick a card mechanic. Whenever he fills his mana, he will randomly pick one of 3 cards. Just like on the Summoner's Rift. Blue card refills his mana so he can get another card up quickly. Red card deals splash damage. And gold card stuns the target. Besides this new addition to the roster, those of you who watched some PBE footage might have also noticed some new animations on Little Legends. Your Little Legends will now directly interact with whatever you are currently moving on your board. There is an awesome new animation when you are holding a unit and when you are placing it down. With Pengu specifically, his animations were first teased in the official trailer. But that's it for TFT on PBE. Don't worry, there will be more news on TFT in a post later on. But now we need to have a look at the other new event. Project 2019. See, this year's project had a great trailer. It quickly showcased 4 new skins, and it was even confirmed that there was a 5th hidden skin teased in the trailer. It didn't stay hidden for too long, however, because Riot tagged Project Vorak in the YouTube video. On top of that, apparently there was a Spanish streamer who accidentally leaked the Project Pike and Jinx skins. So to many, they weren't a surprise either. And of course, it was all because of the League Partner Program. At this point, whenever something gets leaked, I pray it's not from the LPP community, because Riot is trying hard to make the League Partner Program good, and people can easily ruin it for everyone with dumb mistakes. Anyway, let's first talk about the trailer before I forget. We'll talk about the skins in just a second, but what's important now is the setting of the trailer. We can see 4 new champions fighting back Project robots. This is strange because Project are technically the bad guys in the Project universe. It's all about a battle between Project, which you can tell by their logo, against the Genetic, which is a group of rebels trying to shut down projects in human experimentations. Vi isn't on either side because she's a detective. Fun fact, although Vayne does have the Project logo on her, she is a formal Project member who left after she was betrayed. You would know that if you read the last Project story. Anyway, the new squad of Project skins might be a new faction, because not only are they fighting Project robots, but you can also see they destroyed Ash's drones. And Ash is a member of the Genetic group. But what's also possible is that Ash's drone was on their side and it was destroyed by the robots. In which case, these new champions will be on the good side. I do think they will be a new faction though, because they all look like experiments from the Project labs, just like the original Master Yi. Maybe they just weren't saved by the genetics, so they don't have the motivation to join them. Either way, at the end you can see them going towards the Project headquarters, and that's likely what the new story will be about. We already know that new project bios will arrive in a couple of days, but a new short story is likely too. That was the nerdy side of Project. Now let's have a look at the skins in-game. First of all, we have Project Pike, who's the legendary skin of this lineup. From the teaser video, it seems like the skin is very noisy. And you have no idea what's happening. But if you think about it, that's Pike in general. However, I have to say I really like this skin. His face reminds me of Urgot a little bit. But I love how they faked Pike's shoulder shark jaws with the neon lights. What's interesting is that although Pike is a legendary skin, he still gets chroma skins. Even though Riot said that they wouldn't give chromas to legendaries, because they wanted to focus on the legendaries base experience. I don't have anything against it. It's just interesting that they went against their own philosophy here. What's cool is that because the project skins have very vivid colors, all the chroma skins look good, no matter what color combination you go with. The only downside of this is that the project champions used to stand out from each other because of their colors. Vi was yellow, Echo was green, Fiora was pink, and so on. Chroma skins will make this go away. Next we have Project Jinx. To be honest, I love this one. Not only is the original color scheme really good, but I really like the mask she's wearing. It's almost Batman-like and it's awesome. And this is coming from someone who has never seen a Batman movie. I only wish her guns had a bit more personality, since that's what Jinx is all about. I still like the aura cannon from Odyssey more. Some people also mentioned that her splash art is extremely generic, which I do have to agree with. It's lacking the neon light and the weather effects other splash arts have. Just compare it to Lucian and you'll see the difference. Next we have Project Akali, and this is the one people don't really like, and I don't blame them. To me, Project Akali feels like a filler skin. They didn't know who else to put in the line and so they chose Akali. She has blades, she would fit right in. Well, she does and she doesn't. Yes, her blades do fit all the other weapon-based project champions, but her design is lacking diversity. It's just Akali with a mask and a slightly futuristic looking bodysuit. No mechanical arms, no blades being parts of her augmented hands, nothing. So if you also think that this one is quite plain, I do agree. On her splash art you may notice that she also has the project logo on her helm. So Akali might also be a former project agent. Then we have Vorak, which is a skin nobody expected, but it's also a skin that looks to be one of the best here. I absolutely love the base version of this skin, but all the other chroma versions are also great. What's awesome is that during his recall, you can see Vorak's human head before he disappears. It's likely that Riot will use Vorak's normal lore for the project universe. Remember, Vorak was a normal man before Singed kidnapped him, tortured him, and eventually he turned him into a monster. I think Vorak's project story will be the same. We know the Project Corporation does similar experiments, but it might also be a teaser for a future Project Singed skin, in case Singed stays as the torturer. And the last skin we have is Project Aurelia. She doesn't have chroma skins for a reason you might already be able to predict, but she looks decent. I would say that her abilities are also a bit noisy and hard to read, but it's not as bad as it could be. She also looks a bit like Ashe with her helm, but neither Ashe nor Aurelia have matching chroma skins, so that's not an issue. The reason why Aurelia is in the spotlight and why she doesn't have chroma skins is because she has a prestige version that you'll be able to get for project tokens. Now some people say that this is exactly what they didn't want. Oh no, an Aurelia skin! What?
You never played.
But truth be told, this is one of the better project skins. I love the clean white and gold armor, and her sound effects have a bit more punch as well. You only really see the difference in the model when you compare them side by side, but note that the prestige version does actually have a different model. It's not just a recolor. So to sum up these skins, after the arcade lineup, I think people will be happy overall. As of right now, we still don't know if the project event will have its own game mode. The last one was fine, but it wasn't super popular, so Riot might not even bother updating it. We haven't seen a PvE event in a while though, so that could be a nice surprise for sure. What we do know is that Project will have its own loot, so prepare for another wave of orbs, tokens, and definitely a new event pass. Now, before we jump into the Nexus posts, if you have a look at Riot's merch store, you may notice some Yordle themed merch. There is a set of 5 Yordle minifigures, a limited edition minifigure of defeated Teemo, 2 Teemo plushies, a Beemo onesie, a pack of 5 Omega Squad Poro plushies, a Yordle pin pack, and a legacy figure of Dragon Trainer Tristana. But now, let's have a look at Nexus. First, I want to show you a post that describes how will ranked mode of teamfight tactics work. This is important because by the time this video goes live, TFT ranked might already be up. So, Teamfight Tactics will have the same tiers and divisions as Summoner's Rift. You will also gain LP based on how well you did each game. Riot's goal is to simply make TFT as close to Summoner's Rift as possible. They even want each tier and division to have the same value, so be ready for most people to be placed in silver. But now let's have a look at the differences between the two systems. In TFT, you will generally gain LP if you place 4th or higher, and you'll lose LP if you place 5th or lower. You will also gain a big chunk of LP for placing first. TFT will also have no promotion series. The moment you get to 100 LP, you'll be promoted, and you'll carry over some of your LP as a safety net. Together this means that climbing and falling down the ladder will be a lot faster, since there is no demotion protection, and you don't need to get lucky 3 times in a row to be promoted. Also, as we mentioned in a previous video, you will be able to play ranked with friends, but there will be restrictions. You'll be able to queue with up to 5 friends if you are all gold or lower. If anyone is platinum or above, you'll only be able to go as a group of 3. Also, not every tier can queue with any other tier they want. A bronze player can't go with platinum. So here we got a complete breakdown of who can queue with whom. Feel free to pause the video if you are interested in the details. Then we learn about the ranked rewards from Teamfight Tactics. We know we will get something, but as of right now, we don't know what it is. That's the end of that. Then they talk about TFT passes. Right now, you may notice that Riot is testing the beta pass, and I have to say that if all other passes work like the beta pass, I would actually be happy. I think this should be the bottom line, and Riot should try to build on top of it, without taking away its features. Right now, I like how it encourages you to build different comps to gain extra XP. It's awesome, but the rewards could be a bit better. I think there should be a lot more map customization. Actually, that's one of the reasons why Apex Legends fell apart. The passes brought nothing new and the game didn't change at all. But Riot knows this, and in the next part they talk about it. They want TFT to have its own seasons. But with TFT, they can make massive changes to the game every time a new season arrives. They can't do that with League, because they would risk breaking apart the fundamentals of the game. So every few months, we can expect a lot of new theory crafting and adapting, which is something Twisted Fate might already be bringing in. Before we jump into the last post I wanted to show you, as a part of Riot's community collaboration, they released a Lee Sin comic on Nexus. For reasons that you'll see, I think it should be released on Universe as well, but it is on Nexus right now. Anyway, a lot of people asked me if I would cover this comic on our channel as well. But what's cool about this comic is that it is a direct reenactment of Lee Sin's short story. It is taken word for word, scene for scene. So technically, we have already covered it. That's why I think it should be on Universe, because this comic is technically canon. I'll link it below in case you are interested. And now, for the last part of this video, let's have a look at the last Ask Riot. So how about Death Recap? Will it start working as intended? I've been playing since Season 2 and it still doesn't work correctly. This question was answered by Riot's Scruffy. Actually, yes. Death Recap is closer than you think. In fact, the new Death Recap might go live like right now. It's part of the latest patch and it should be 100% reliable. Are all the champions in League active in the same era, or are there different eras? This one was answered by Skethloke. The simple answer is that, as many of you may know since you are watching this channel, the history of Runeterra has separate eras. There are the Rune Wars, Darkin Wars, Shurima's Conquest, and the present era is called Post-Rune Wars. To answer the question, right now all champions are active components of Runeterra, but Skethloke confirms that not only was it obviously not always the case, since, you know, some champions are ancient, but he also teases that some champions are mortal, and so they have to die eventually. And if that's the truth, is something we will find out. Which means that finally we may face a real death in the universe of League of Legends. And since Pantheon is on his way, I really hope it is going to be Pantheon. But then again, Pantheon will be replaced, so it's not a real death. Also, he's technically not mortal, so I'm not sure how this works. Anyway, the closest we got so far was with Gangplank, but that also doesn't really count. And the last and the most important question: in your opinion, what is the tastiest jungle monster? And how would it have to be prepared to reach peak levels of deliciousness? Here Riot Tiger Lily wrote a very heartwarming RP story, where 2 newborn Merkwolf heads lick the film from their eyes, only moments after they've been born, and then they become friends that never leave each other behind. Then we learned that if you decapitate a sleeping Merkwolf, their soft skulls are great with salt and pepper after 35 minutes on glowing embers. It's a delicacy. After all, 2 heads are better than 1. But that's it for this episode of Rift News. As I mentioned, I won't have much free time this week, so expect only 1 video per week for the next 2 weeks at least. But keep an eye on my hand, it may change soon. Hey, did you know that we have social media and Twitch where we talk about other league facts and stories? And did you know that we have neat mugs and shirts too? The links to all of that will be below. And as always, thank you, come again.